In the tech world, we've all gotten used to DevOps. It's been a huge deal. But what happens when you throw the biggest catalyst of our time, artificial intelligence, right into the middle of it? What we're seeing isn't just a little tweak here and there. It's a complete rethink of how we build, ship, and run software. So let's really dig into what that looks like. And this brings us to a weird paradox, one I bet a lot of you have felt. We're developing software faster than we ever have before. The tools are amazing, our processes are streamlined. So why does it still feel like we're constantly hitting roadblocks, like we're sprinting just to end up in a traffic jam? It's a real head-scratcher. Well, it turns out the answer has a name: the DevOps bottleneck. Even in the most advanced setups, there are these classic challenges that just create friction and slow the whole thing down. It doesn't matter how fast the individual pieces are moving if the whole system keeps getting snagged. Okay, let's just quickly get on the same page about DevOps itself. At its core, it's really a philosophy, a culture. The whole point was to break down the walls between the folks writing the code, the devs, and the folks keeping it running, the ops. The goal was simple, right? Work together, automate stuff, and get better software out the door faster. But that promise has hit a few snags along the way. You know the drill. Even with the best DevOps practices, things get bogged down. Manual testing? That's a classic bottleneck where everything just grinds to a halt, waiting for a human to say go. And our monitoring? It's often reactive. We find out something's broken because our customers are screaming about it. And then, of course, there's always the risk of a simple human mistake during a major deployment. Each one of these is a point of friction that just holds teams back. So how do we finally break through these old friction points? Well, this is where AI enters the chat. And it's not just another tool in the toolbox. It's a true game changer that completely upends how we deal with these problems. So how does AI actually change the game? Well, it goes right after those bottlenecks we just talked about. First, it brings smart automation to take over all that tedious, repetitive work. Then it gives us predictive insights, shifting us from being reactive to proactive. We can actually see problems before they happen. And finally, it supercharges our own decision-making by sifting through tons of data, turning what used to be a gut feeling into a data-backed strategy. Let's make this real with a concept that sounds like science fiction: self-healing infrastructure. So forget those 3 a.m. emergency calls. The process starts with AI-powered issue detection. It spots something weird before it becomes a full-blown outage. Next, it does the detective work, performing a root cause analysis to find out exactly what's wrong. And then comes the magic part: automated resolution. The system literally just fixes itself. It's a huge leap from human firefighting to truly autonomous operations. And we see that same proactive power when we talk about security. You've heard the phrase shift left for years, right? Building security in from the start. Well, AI actually makes that happen. It's constantly on the lookout, performing threat detection. It can find vulnerabilities in the code while it's still being written, and it can even trigger an automated response to an attack, neutralizing it in seconds. Suddenly, security isn't a final hurdle to jump over. It's an intelligent, active part of the whole process. Okay, so a self-healing, super secure pipeline sounds fantastic, but what does it actually mean for the business? What's the real impact? Well, you can basically boil it down to 3 words: faster, smarter, and stronger. Let's look at the actual numbers. Let's talk speed. The data shows that organizations that put these AI tools in place are seeing releases that are up to 50% faster. 50%! Just let that sink in for a second. If your release cycle was 2 weeks, now it's 1. If it's 1 day, now it's half a day. That's not a small improvement. That's a revolutionary change in how fast you can innovate. And it isn't just about speed. It's about efficiency for us humans. AI is taking over the grunt work, cutting down the manual effort needed from engineers by about 30%. And this is so important. It's not about replacing people. It's about giving them back almost a third of their work week to focus on the creative, high-value work that they were actually hired to do. So when you put it all together, the big picture becomes crystal clear. You get enhanced reliability because you're fixing problems before they start. You get improved efficiency because you're making the most of your resources. And you get strengthened security because you're finding threats proactively.
It's not about just fixing one thing. It's about making the entire system more robust. Okay, so all this automation and intelligence, it leads us to the biggest question of all, the one that really matters. What does this mean for the people? If AI is handling the day-to-day, what does a DevOps engineer actually do now? Well, the job isn't going away. It's leveling up.
The change is pretty dramatic. It's a move from being tactical to being strategic. In the past, the role was all about manual tasks, putting out fires, just being a mechanic for the system. But the future of the role? It's about being the architect. It's about strategic thinking, using all this new data to make smart decisions, and focusing on innovation, designing the very AI systems that do all the old work. You know, there's a line from the source material that just hits the nail on the head. It says, AI frees up engineers to focus on strategic activities and drive innovation. Think about that. The job becomes less about just keeping the lights on and more about designing the next generation lighthouse. It's a total elevation of the role, not an elimination. So if you're an engineer listening to this, you're probably wondering, okay, what do I need to learn? Well, the essential skills are shifting. Having a basic grasp of machine learning is becoming non-negotiable. You need strong data analysis skills to make sense of all the insights AI is giving you. And of course, deep expertise in cloud computing and security automation are still the bedrock for everything else. All right, so that's the engineer of today and tomorrow. But where is this whole train headed in the long run? Well, the ultimate vision is pretty clear, and the future is looking more and more autonomous. Now let's be realistic. Getting to this amazing autonomous future isn't as easy as flipping a switch. There are some real challenges we have to solve. For one, data quality is everything. Your AI is only as smart as the data you feed it. System integration can be tricky, making all the new tools play nice with the old ones. And probably the biggest one, we have to close the skill gap and get our teams ready for this new world. But the destination is absolutely worth the effort. The ultimate goal, the holy grail, is what people are starting to call autonomous DevOps. This is a future where AI systems manage the entire pipeline, from the moment a developer writes a line of code all the way through deployment and monitoring, completely on their own. We're talking about a system that not only runs itself, but learns, adapts, and gets better over time. And so that leaves us with one final and I think really powerful question. The technology is here. It's already reshaping our tools faster than we can keep up. So the question isn't really about the machines anymore. It's about us. Are we ready to reshape our skills, our thinking, and our roles to meet this incredible new reality?